Let's get started. Here we go. So, first thing we're going to do, we've got Hawaiian vanilla beans, and we are going to make our very first extract ever with Starlette.
Yep.
We will be using our brand new jar that we just
Yes.
rolled out. That's the
Look how
Avera.
sweet this is.
Isn't
This
that
is
fun?
beautiful.
So that's the Avera jar. It's a little more than 16 ounces.
Really nice top.
It's all
Don't have
glass.
to worry about it degrading.
It's a fun jar, right? And so we'll leave this. We like to make extracts when we come to your home, and then we'll have a little label we'll put on it with our name, and then it's our little parting gift to Starlette, along with a few other things. So
There we go.
with that being said, I'm gonna just shut up.
Yeah, you
How does
tell
that
us.
sound?
You tell
We're
us
gonna-
what you like to do here.
Alrighty, we are going to, this is 16 ounces, so I'm putting 2 ounces of Hawaiian beans in it. I'm a tipper, so I cut off my tips, all the tips, and I put them in what I call a calming jar, which you can use it for anything.
Well, can I smell it again?
If you need some for
Oh.
sugars, you can grind it, you can put them in anything. I just
So-
toss them into
So
that.
tipping is something
Why
that
do
that people just started talking about.
Yeah, why do you tip?
You know, I find when you tip, believe it or not, the extract turns darker, quicker.
Interesting.
And I don't know it's because there's a lot of concentration in the tips.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm not sure how, I'm assuming that they grow this way.
They do.
The tips, a lot of oils because
Yeah.
they're up, you know, growing.
Right.
I don't know how significant the top is, but I know when you put them in, I mean, you can see some of the, now this is all tips, this
So
is
we want
my,
to show this, yeah.
yes, this is Adi. Now I take all the tips from all the beans that I don't put in my calming jar, and all the alcohol that I use that's dispersed from using it, I put that in here also. So that's kind of got big, but you can see
Let me see this
how
here.
dark it
So
is.
this is the Audi, and this is only made of tips.
It's only made of tips.
So
And the
it's
first
kind of-
tips went in how long ago?
Probably 6 months ago.
Just 6 months ago. I'm
Just
going to
6
kind of
months
pull
ago.
this up, and we've got that daylight behind just to see if I can show you any daylight.
And it's
You can't see
probably that much.
maybe
It's a lot of tips.
down lower. There's
But
a
it-
little bit, but you see how dark that
Well,
is
you can home.
with extracts made from tips.
They're
And then
incredible.
when you look at the number of beans that Starlette has
That's just
managed,
one.
this is her jar right now of dried tips.
Just one of the jars.
That's just one.
This is
Just one.
that's just one of her jars of dried tips. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of dried tips.
But
in
I
there.
use these for different things. You know, a lot of times, you know, if I just need a little bit of sugar to
Yeah.
grind, I'll just grab a couple of these and just toss in with the sugar and you can grind it. So I don't just use it for smelling. But it is kind of nice. I keep the lid off so you don't have to, I don't put a seal on it.
Okay.
So that way it doesn't, no mold will get into it because
Yeah.
there's no
No mold.
condensation or anything.
There's
But
like air
you can lift
circulation.
it up
Yeah.
and smell. I call her Flo. My grandmother's name was Florence. They call her.
So do all of your jars have different names?
They all have different names.
So this is Flo. This is Audi.
Audi. I
Audie's
got all.
like a mother jar.
I got
right?
2 hands. Well, my mother jar, this is my sister jar. This is 2 hands. Now, 2 hands has a lot of different beans. Every has 2 of each of the beans that I've worked with over the course of the last 10 years. Whatever,
Right.
several 10 years. It
Yeah.
has 2 of each of the beans.
Amazing.
So I call it 2 hands. So this is, I call a sister jar.
Of course, because it can't be the mother jar.
So I'm gonna hold this up. So this is the
This
sister
is my
jar
mother jar. This was my grandmother's
called
jar.
2 hands because there's 2 of every kind of bean
There's
that
2.
we sell in
Mhm.
here.
So I always
Okay.
grab it with 2 hands, and this is the mother jar.
2
This
beans.
was my original jar. That's what started out my original
Oh
jar.
my
And that was
heavens.
her
That
grandmother.
was my grandmother's jar.
This was your grandmother's jar. Oh my gosh.
I
No
love
So,
kidding.
yeah, all most of my antiques.
Let me see if
I don't
can
know. I
open it. Maybe
read
crystal.
this.
Oh, do you want me to open it? or
No,
not?
you can open
I
it. It's probably a little boozy because I changed
You
and
just
added a
changed
little
it?
bit.
Well, let's see.
A couple months ago.
We do that all the
Oh,
time, right?
Can
are
you smell
kidding?
it?
There is some. You get a little bit of the booze, but it's this is what we love about
Oh,
vanilla
yeah. I
extract
haven't opened it in
making.
a while. You can see the
Yeah,
rolls across the top.
but no 2 jars are ever the same.
No,
Ever
this
the
one.
same. I mean, even when you buy beans from the same place, like the Hawaiian beans, the climate might be different next year than it was this year, and so you can get these different tastes. What do we have here?
That's what's in there.
That's
She
what's
has
in this
a 3x5 note card of every bean that's in her mother jar, and wow.
Tahitian, Sri Lanka,
Oh, you
Ecuadorian,
name 'em.
Indonesian, Madagascar bee,
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian,
I've been
Papua New
doing it, yeah.
Guinea, Mexican, Zimbabwe, Sumatra, Uganda, Jayapura, all of them.
Spice crumbs.
Isn't
Wow.
that
They're
amazing?
wrong, yeah. So it's a difference, and they're all different. And I think they're all flavors different, and I
Yeah.
use them in both savory and sweet. So
Well, we love all your jars, and we love how you've named your big jars. You know, the 2 hands, the ollie.
this, yeah,
It's so much fun.
this
You're
is
actually
Ollie.
using-
This
that's
is
Ollie.
yeah, that's what her name is, Ollie.
And then your grandma's
Ollie.
jar for the mother jar.
They're
Again,
kind of cool.
yeah. Everybody
Thanks.
says, "What's so big about extracting? You're just putting beans and booze."
No, you're not.
No,
you
you're
know
not.
what? Once you start smelling them and you shake them and they're like your family. I mean, I go down to my room and there's like, oh, look, I'll go ahead and shake this one up a little bit, you know. So yeah, so it's kind of fun and it's kind of relaxing for me.
It
You know,
is.
you do a lot of work. We're up early. You know, we got the farm to take care of, the vegetables and the gardens, and this is my me time. You know, I go downstairs, my grandson comes down, and we sit there and we snip bean tips. So getting back to it, I'm
Yep.
a tipper. So and not everybody does this, and it probably doesn't make any sense to do it. I like doing it, so I do it. I remove just the very tip of each of the vanilla beans.
So just right where they bend at the top.
Right as they bend,
she's just
just a
cutting
very
the tips
little.
off.
Just a very,
very little.
very, very little.
And it's okay, because they say, well, you need an ounce. You need a little less than an ounce for your 8 ounces. So these aren't really going to matter that much.
And I'm going to give them a close-up here.
Mhm.
The camera's fixed so we can't, but if you look here, she's not cutting away the whole curve of the top.
Just very little.
She's just cutting away the tip, kind of like the end of the curve.
Really?
And so there's still a little bend on each one of those.
Yep.
And then,
And then
it just
I just-
releases some flavor
Yep.
that's amazing.
And then I just take them and toss them into,
Put them in your tip jar. Put them in
Tip
slow.
just throw them in there, give them a shake so they kind of
Mix in with all the
mix
others.
in with them. And then
Oh, wow.
I like to split my beans. I know I always wind up putting 1 or 2 of them in there that I don't split, just
Uh-huh.
in case I ever need it.
But you're a
I
splitter.
I'm a splitter. I think if you look at the 3 that I have in there,
Uh-huh.
that has the whole, I don't know if you saw it, it has the whole, the split and the
Uh-huh.
chopped.
Mhm.
The split one is clearly, as far as color goes, I don't know about taste because I haven't tasted them, clearly is darker than the other 2.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a difference in how you do it. And I
You use scissors.
use scissors,
Just going right down
and I
the
just-
middle, all the way up.
pop them in, and then I usually wind up just cutting them in half.
I do
Just
that
'cause
too.
you're dropping
It's
them
just
in.
easier
Yeah,
to get.
and, well, I think if you cut them, you get more in the friction of them hitting
Uh-huh.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps the caviar, I don't know,
And it's a
maybe.
little easier to get them out.
I think so,
So
yeah.
the
I got
concept
a
of
fly
splitting,
here.
the majority of the taste of the vanilla bean comes out of the pod
Out of-
itself.
Inside.
And so when you split it, not only can the alcohol now come in contact with the outside of the bean, but it can also come in contact with the inside of the pod. So it's double the surface area,
Brody usually does
which
this
allows for increased extraction. Starlette was just saying her grandson.
one. My grandson.
By the way,
yeah.
we're getting so many pictures of all of you with grandkids and children,
We love it.
Oh, we love
sisters
it.
and brothers, and you're all doing it together, and those are some of our favorite pictures.
And it's memories that you'll never be able to take away from them.
No,
You know, I was an apron string, I have to everybody, I was an apron string kid. I was always with my grandma. And right, you know, when she cooked and when she did all this stuff, I was right there with her. I made lemon, everybody's like, lemon. I made lemon extract when I was a little girl.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I don't know
With
what.
your grandma?
Yeah, with my grandma. I don't know what she used. That's why it's my grandma's face. I don't know what she used as an extractor because I was little. But I remember peeling the lemon. So,
No kidding.
you know, everybody's like, well, I don't know. I've been doing it a long time.
You've been doing it a long
I've been
time.
doing it a long time.
Well, and coming off of COVID, when we couldn't be all together, now, you know, it's so nice that we can just. Families are coming together again, and friends are coming together again.
Well, yeah, because
You know, it's
yeah, because there was
so
for a
nice.
while. Well, we were lucky because we live out here in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
cornfields and cows. So we didn't have to really worry.
Mhm.
You know, they didn't really shut us down only for the first couple months. So we were able to really live our lives out here.
Yeah.
We were cautious because we are older,
Mhm.
but you know, as far as, you know, staying home and doing stuff, we lived. We lived.
Yeah. Case.
Okay, there we go. Sometimes the internet can be spotty out here.
Okay. So we're cutting with the
Almost
scissors,
done. Mm-hmm.
which is wonderful. You put them halfway in, then
And
do a
then
cut, drop the
cut,
rest in.
And then these 2 I'm going to put in whole because if I ever need, I've never needed one, but I always tell myself if you don't drop 2 of them in there whole, you're going to want it.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Okay,
I
sound is
always-
back. It looks like. So we're good. We're back
if
up.
I can drop them in whole, I'll drop them in whole.
You'll drop them in
Yeah,
whole.
if the bottle's big enough,
If the
just
bottle,
go for
and
it.
if you know what, if something, and if it, doesn't fit, then just.
You just
cut off
snip
a
a
little
little
bit.
bit of it. Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way of doing this.
Well, and if I'm giving it as a gift, I like to leave them. I like to leave some whole and some cut because the whole beans they're very pretty. It's a
they
nice
are-
presentation.
They are.
And then they get to use some of the caviar if they want.
Mhm,
Pull the
mhm.
beans
And that's-
out and then make whatever they want with that caviar.
Exactly, and that's what's nice when you use the alcohol bottles because you can drop all of them in
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
cutting if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the alcohol bottles are very nice sometimes.
Some of them are really nice. I use
fun
those.
ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I use
see
a
the
lot.
ocean vodka a lot of people use.
I have the little ones. Yeah.
The skeleton one. There's a vodka out there with a skeleton face. They're fun. And even these whiskey bottles are nice.
Now I'm not even going to measure this. I'm just going to pour this
Yeah,
in.
because you know
Because
it's
I know this is 16 ounces.
Yep.
And I know there's going to be a little bit dispersed, so it's not really going to matter.
There you go.
So
So you lift the funnel a little because it forms
You
a
lift it,
suction.
yeah,
If you don't, right?
yeah.
And it'll all bubble up. So
yeah,
hold
and
the
it'll
funnel
all
just a
go
little
everywhere
bit
if
up.
you don't. So you want to make sure that you get it in there. And the people that want to whip it and take a drink, you can do that too. I don't, but it's a good way to hide your addiction.
There you go. Oh, that looks beautiful.
There we
How
go.
pretty is that?
Oh,
With the
in that
bottle?
jar.
I don't have Hawaiians in bourbon.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. So this is
Oh,
going
this will be wonderful.
This will be great.
The
This
Sugar
will be
House
great.
bourbon's really sweet.
Oh, it
and
smells
so,
wonderful.
yeah, it's got a very good honey.
Barbecue.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
that is.
Oh,
It's
wait,
a-
I gotta smell.
Okay.
Wait.
That smells good.
Yeah.
It's
Normally we do vodka with the Hawaiian, but I think
We'll
this
see
is
how
gonna
the
be
flavor.
fun.
Yeah, we'll see how the flavor
Yeah.
overpowers the. Because I know they have the Hawaiians have a deep earthy flavor. Once they extract all the way, I didn't like them at first,
right.
but now that I've had them for a full year, they're wonderful.
They're wonderful.
They're really wonderful. They really are.
So we'll put the cap on it, and then we have a label we'll put on a little later, one of our labels, and we'll put our names on it, our date today, we'll sign
I
it.
love that.
I'm gonna do a close-up so everyone can see what it looks like. So those are Hawaiian vanilla beans in bourbon. You can still see through it, and come back in not a lot of time, and you won't even be able to see those beans in
You
there.
won't even be able to see them. No.
Yeah, so it's
Wonderful.
pretty rich, pretty quick.
Great.
So some people, that's why I'm thinking about it, we haven't mentioned this in our videos, but every now and then people will say there's slime. Like my beans have been sitting for like 3 weeks or a month, and there's like white slime or things on the outside. That's the good stuff, right?
That's the good stuff.
That's the
And
vanilla.
you know, it's amazing because the changes to the vanilla beans over the course of the year. Some of them you can't really see,
Mhm.
but once you take your bottle and you tip it and you can see some of the beans, some of the beans have this white kind of jelly stuff coming
Yeah.
out of it. And
Uh-huh.
people are like, "Oh, my bean looks like alive in there." That's what you want out. That you
That's
know.
right.
But yeah, they do change a lot. They pop up and
Yep.
they just get wonderful.
And so if you see the slime, it goes away
It
usually
goes
by
away.
month 2 is what we've seen in our
Yeah,
experience.
these are pretty beans.
Yeah.
If you don't see anything on your bean before you put it in, I guarantee you're not going to get anything bad coming out of them.
No, but
Because
but you'll
and
see
you
the
get
vanilla.
some funky stuff, and the oils will start popping out. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's good to go.
Good to go. Now
Good to go.
now it's just time. Shake them occasionally if you want to shake them.
You want to
but,
shake them?
that's more just for fun than anything.
That's just some of them I do, some of them I don't. Some of them I just leave sitting because when you first start, it's really cool to watch how it starts from the bottom
Uh-huh.
and it goes and covers the whole entire. So I love watching.
Just
the
untouched.
process.
change, just-
Yeah.
Just let it do its thing.
And then after it's done and you can't see anymore, that's when you shake it. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, just let it do it.
That is awesome. So let's see if there's any questions. Just a lot of comments. Starlette, everyone's so excited to see you. Let's see. Bourbon from Paul and Jill. Yes. What kind of bourbon? It was Sugar House Bourbon from Salt Lake City. We
Yeah.
brought it with us. A little made in the USA. Can you squeeze the caviar out? Or can you use the whole beans and then the caviar is one of the questions. So where you've tipped it, how does that affect your use of caviar? Or where you split it, how does that affect your use of
Okay,
caviar?
so if you split it, you can still get caviar out because all the caviar won't remove from the beans. It stays there.
Uh-huh.
If you take and put whole ones in there, even with the tip off, it'll just draw in the alcohol a little better, a little
Okay.
quicker. And then when you split your bean, you can just squeeze. You don't even need to split it. You can just pull it and just
Squeeze
squeeze
it
right
out.
on down, and you have all that wonderful caviar.
Oh, wonder, that's what Laura said, like toothpaste almost.
Yeah,
Just
you
squeeze
never.
it out.
Yeah, exactly. You'll always have caviar no matter what, because when you pull them beans out, even though when you split them, they still cover up
They'll
themselves.
still,
It's
kind of
like they come in and they cover up the caviar
Yeah.
to protect them.
Mhm.
It really does. So a lot of times I'll let it sit like 6 months, and then I'll go and I'll open them up, and then I'll take and bend them around my finger and kind of expose them out a lot. But you'll always have caviar in it.
Always have
with,
caviar.
with grade A.
With grade A, now
Yeah.
grade B is a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are harder.
Much harder,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, and then someone did ask, and we'll end with this question, what is your favorite brand of vodka? There's a tough one. You have
You
so
know,
many.
I've been using right now, the two most is Cooper's Chase. It's in Nebraska.
Oh,
I
Cooper's
love it.
Chase.
It's called Cooper's Chase. You can get it in a big bottle. It's not expensive. I also do a 420 extractor out of Colorado,
Uh-huh.
and it's 190, and it blows Everclear away. It's just so
Really?
smooth, and
Okay.
the vanilla beans are just wonderful floating in it. I just do local now. I have
local,
platinum.
support
Yeah, some
local.
Yeah.
whatever you can afford.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to go out and spend $50 for a bottle of vodka, mid-shelf, whatever you can do.
Mhm.
My best, believe it or not, the best vanilla I've ever made in my entire life
Now this is saying something.
Drum roll.
is Ugandan and Cheap Heroes vodka.
No
And
kidding.
I paid $5.95 for a fifth.
No kidding.
And I tell you what, this is the best in the world.
The Ugandan and
Ugandan
the... No
and
kidding.
Cheap Heroes vodka.
Cheap
What?
Heroes vodka. And you have it in this beautiful maple leaf jar?
I know,
I
that's
love
the only
it.
thing I had at the time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
that
it's
smells
wonderful.
amazing.
We got it in here.
I mean, you
I
can
mean,
really
look-
smell like the notes of the
It's
vodka, or
just-
the
yeah.
Ugandan
It
come
just
through.
it was the
Like
most.
fruits.
Yeah, it was just
Lots of
incredible.
dried
It was
fruit.
incredible, and I'm so I can't find it anymore. I've been
Right.
looking everywhere I went.
It always
It's
works
heroes.
out that
It's
way.
made by veterans.
Okay, made by
And yeah,
veterans.
it's made by veterans. And I thought, well, it's $5 and some cents. I said, well, you know, I'll try it.
Sure.
I
You know,
love
what's the worst can happen? You get vanilla that you can use.
Sure.
I mean,